everyone. Sorry that I end up losing that connection. So I'm gonna probably wait maybe a minute or so. Let's see how many people will be joining. Okay. Um. So yeah, I end up losing connection. I didn't know. I was probably like 2-3 minutes into it when I'm like, holy shit! Like I end up losing that connection. But hopefully, we end up getting the same everyone back. Okay, so now going back on that conversation. Okay, so I know probably some of you already. Let's see. And again, any questions? Like really, any questions? Put them on the chat. Okay, and I'm gonna go through those questions. So, what's the conversation that I wanted to go today? Okay, and again, I'm trying to. My thinking right now is like if I'm sitting with you, like in your living room. Let's just imagine that I'm like right there with you, right? And we are talking about our IT career, right? How can we get to a high-paying job in IT? The first thing that I will say is, okay, before we go in details, and what would I do me if I have to start all over again my IT career? I want to start by saying this, and that's for you to question, like really question what you know. Question the approach that you are taking right now in order for you to take your first job in IT or for you to upgrade that job that you have now to a better one. How can you advance your IT career? Having this in mind, that this is for you to go up your IT career, not for you to move sideways. You see, because many people end up doing that in their IT career. I did that for a few years. Yeah, I ended up moving from one job to the next job and to the next job. And even though I was getting more money on the next jobs, I didn't really move up in my IT career. I ended up moving sideways. And I didn't know that because obviously I didn't know any better until far on my career. When I look back, I'm like, oh my God, how is that no one told me that? How is that no one kind of guide me through on how to go through my IT career a lot better, right? So again, if I'm sitting down with you, let's say in your living room, let's just have that conversation. How can you get to a high paying job in IT by the end of next year? Okay. And that means for you to finally get that job that's going to pay you a lot more than $120,000. I had a conversation not too long ago, and I think I already shared this with you. When someone reached out and said, Jorge, I already have a job that's paying me 100K. And I'm like, that's great. That's good for you. But it's not a high paying job in IT. A high paying job in IT, that's a job that has to pay you more than $120,000. That's a high paying job in IT. And you probably know this, right? You probably noticed that a lot of the prices and everything is going up, but not your income, right? So why not approach your IT career in a way that you can get a high paying job in IT, or for you to be able to move quick and be able to eventually get to a job that's going to pay you over $120,000. Many people have done that. So why not you? That's the same thing I tell my students. Why not you? You have to be the next one. Okay. So once again, that's the first thing. Question, like really question what you know, like really question the approach that you are taking right now, because I know a lot of it has to do with the advice, right? That you got, that guidance that you got from other people in the IT community, right? Because that's exactly what happened to me. And I'm not saying everyone, right, is giving you bad advice or guidance, but I know for fact most people are. They're giving you information, advice, guidance that it's not helping you. It's basically holding you back. Okay. And this is exactly what I was saying in the previous, a few minutes ago on the other live about when you go to the Mount Everest, right? When you want to climb that to the Mount Everest, you may have all the equipment, right? All the resources. You probably have, the best guide, right? Team that is helping you to go all the way to the top, right? For you to climb the Mount Everest. But if you do some research, you're going to find out that most people are not able to go all the way to the top, even though they have the guidance, the right team, right? And you have the tools, the resources. But mentally, they're not ready. Mentally, they are not ready. And that applies to in your IT career. So you see, that's the first thing that you need to think of. Like, am I ready for me to go through my IT career and be able to make things happen? Do I have the right inner game that's going to allow me for me to get there? That's going to allow me for me to only focus on the things that will allow me to get that job and the next job and finally to get to that high paying job in IT? Am I or not? You see? So that's the first thing that I will say if I am, again, having a conversation with you, like right there in your living room, because that's exactly what I will do. Okay? Because, and this is something that I've been saying for so long, you have to become someone that you are not. And yes, IT certifications help you, and they can help you a lot, but that's not the answer. It's only just one resource, right? That you need to get at one point. But that's not the answer, and you being able to get to that job that you want in your IT career. And there are many jobs out there that pay you over $120,000, $160,000. And once you get to that level, there are many more opportunities for you to really take advantage and be able to earn more money. You know, I don't know any other career. Okay, again, I don't know any other career, and I know there are probably a few. I'm not saying they're not, but based on my experience, I don't know any other career that will pay you that much, like IT, fast, without that much of investment based on money, time, and effort. You know, because obviously, if you want to become like some type of a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, or something like that, I mean, that's years and years in the process. And, you know, probably hundreds of thousands, right? In order for you to get to that level. In IT, you can do that in the next 2, in the next 3 years, right? So, again, so that's the first thing, guys. Going in 2022, and you're probably thinking, like, bro, it's like 3 months away. Really? That's gonna go like that, right? So this is my take on it, right? And again, that's go based on what I told you. You need to become someone that you are not. Now that's for you to think of that. Like, who is that person that I'm not right now, but that I need to become in order for me to get to not just the next job, but all the way to a high paying job in IT. Okay, let me think about that. And then let me reverse engineer the process so that I can see what are the things I need to do in order for me to become that person that's gonna get me that job, that income, that lifestyle that I want. You see, unfortunately, no one tells you this. And that's exactly what's going to make the big difference. And you taking the time, okay, who is the person I need to become in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months? That way, I end up getting that high paying job in IT. That way, I end up finally going through my life in a way that I can create the lifestyle that I always wanted. You see, unfortunately, no one tells you that. Okay. Now let me go through some of your comments. Okay. I'm gonna go from all the way to the top. My only question: which is better for our career marketing and branding? Targeted blog, targeted YouTube channel, or neither? You know, I will do both depending on where that is. You know, I have about, I think there were 2 students that ended up doing something with YouTube, and they were able to take advantage of that just because of that. And one of them, I will tell you, his name is man, I have a few students. I will show you here. Let's see, let's see. So basically, what he ended up doing, he ended up getting his dream job in IT in the Philippines. He's from the Philippines. And he ended up doing a few things related to not just YouTube channel, but doing a few classes, a few videos on YouTube, but some classes online. Not online, physically. There we go. There, Rolly. So he ended up doing that. Like, end up getting his dream job just because he ended up doing some marketing based on some YouTube videos. And on top of that, the things that he was posting on his social media. Because many people look at that. Many people don't think, I don't think they're going to look at my social media. They do. Many recruiters, some of the managers look at your social media. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, that's good for me because I don't have anything. I don't have no presence on social media. And if I have, everything is private. So if someone wants to do some search on me, everything is private. No one is gonna find my Snapchat or my Facebook or my YouTube or my Instagram. Like they're not gonna be able to find none of that. That's bad because you see, I know that many people focus on the LinkedIn profile. And it's been probably 3, maybe 4 years that I haven't done anything on my LinkedIn profile because that I don't need that right now. But many people focus on that, thinking that, oh, that's exactly what's going to get me a job. But if you reach out to a few recruiters and you ask them, what do you think about that LinkedIn profile and the candidates? Many of them will say that's only BS. Everything they have is BS. Because they're the ones they told me, okay? Because obviously that information I know, it's not because, oh, I'm freaking genius. No, I reach out to people. I ask the right questions because I want to know how the game is playing out there. Because if you have no idea how the game is playing out there, how are you going to win? And win, that means you getting the job that you want. You see, when there is information out there that you have no idea, there are insights that many people can give you that you cannot find online on YouTube. So sometimes you really have to reach out to the right people for you to find that information, for you to be able to get those insights that you're not going to be able to find or any idea on doing that type of research online. And just that information can change everything and how you're going to go through your IT career and be able to make things happen. But you see, no one tells you this. I mean, it will be easy for me to say, oh, get a ton of IT certifications, right? Create like a really badass, LinkedIn profile, learn many other, like, imagine if I tell you that, like everyone else, you're gonna probably be, oh, I agree with you, but I'm not really helping you at all. Basically, what I'm doing is probably holding you back. This is why I'm really giving you what it can make a difference for you and reaching out to some recruiters, not for you to see if they have a jobs. No, for you to just ask some questions. Can you tell me more about how you end up going through the process to find the right candidate? Because obviously, and really think about this, right? They talk to hundreds of people every month, right? They talk to a lot of people every day. They go through resumes every day. That's their job. So they can tell. And again, this is not me thinking that I know better. They told me this is how the game is playing, right? So they're like, okay, we can tell. Like I can tell when I go through a resume, as soon as I call that person, if that person is like average, like everyone else, or if that person is a high performer. And I'm like, how? And like when you do this for a long time, you can tell right away. And they can be very various things. You see? And that's probably something that you never think of. You probably think the more IT certifications, the better. But that's not how it works. It's just really not how it works. Go right now on social media and you're going to find many people that are trying to get a job. And some of them, they have a bachelor's degree. Some others, yes, they have some IT certifications, but they do not have a job in IT. Now, you probably know some people that, yes, they have a job in IT, but they have an entry level job, even though, again, they have a bachelor's degree. They have a few IT certifications, right? So, again, this is why I told you, you have to really question the beliefs that you have. Question the approach that you are going through and how to get your first job in IT or that job that you want, for you to go from that job that you have now in IT to a better one. Like really question that because I know probably there are better ways on how to accomplish that. And again, regardless of where you are right now, you can really get to a high paying job in IT in the next 2 years. And that high paying job in IT is the one that's gonna pay you more than $120,000. I'm telling you, there are many opportunities out there. The problem is there are not that many people there that qualify. Or some of them, yes, they are qualified, but they don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to go and be able to really play in the game in a way that they can get those jobs. You see? And that's something that no one is gonna teach you. Okay? Everyone goes based on technical information. No bueno, I'm telling you, it's just no bueno. Okay? So I'm gonna comments, questions. Okay? So hey Jorge, I recently got my CCNA 2021. So that's like probably 3 months ago. But then having a hard time landing a job interview. They keep saying that lack practical experience, even though it's an interview. How did you end up? How did you know that you end up acing the interview? How do you know, Kyle, Lawrence, that you end up acing that interview? Did you probably thought that, oh, they asked me 5 questions, so maybe 7 questions. And I know I answer every question right. And I felt like I have that connection with them. So yeah, I was thinking that, I was getting that job, but didn't happen. So this is probably what you are not thinking right now. But obviously, you are not the only one, right? You go through the job interview process and you are not the only one. There are probably other 5, 7, 10 people, right? And more likely, they will be asked the same questions. Probably not all of them, but most of them. Same questions they ask you, right? Now, the question to you is, Kyle, how are you going to differentiate yourself from the other 7, 10 candidates in a way that they can remember you? Because I know that probably you end up answering the questions the way that everyone did. So basically, you just sound like everyone else. And when they look at your resume, they don't see no experience. They're like, well, this guy may know that information because, yes, he probably end up going through a book, going through some videos, maybe end up doing some labs. But that doesn't tell me, even though it seems that you know, but that doesn't tell me that you can get the job done. And if that question is not answered, that you can get the job done, they're not going to give you the job. It's just that simple. So the question you're probably asking, okay, so how they can think of me that I can get the job done? Well, a lot of it has to do on how you end up learning the topics. So if you end up getting the CCNA, how did you end up learning the topics? Like if I come up to you right now and I ask you, can you tell me, right, the need of having a VLAN or VLANs in a network infrastructure? What would you say? You're probably going to come up with some type of a technical definition, right? Or probably if I ask you, can you tell me a time where you end up working with OSPF? And can you tell me what you did? You probably may say something that's technical focused based on a technical definition, some type of technical lecture. You will not be able to come up with a story. And I get it. You probably, Jorge, how can I come up with a story if I'm new in IT? I never had a job, so how can I come up with a story related to OSPF if I never done it? You see? And I can tell you, but that will take me because it's a process. I'm telling you, it's a process. But I'm just giving you a few things for you to think about, okay? It's just based on you being a storyteller, okay? Now, so again, and you may have a lot more issues. I don't know if you're still listening, Kyle, but and I know this applies to many other people, not just you, Kyle. You're not the only one going through this. Now, going back on what I was saying, right? You can go on social media and you may find people that they are not able to get a job. Now, think about this, okay? Because this is something that I had a conversation with one of my students. I'm like, Jorge, I mean, I don't see that many people that are unable to get a job in IT. Like I see everyone, like when I ask a question to the IT community, a lot of the people, I mean, when I ask, they have a job in IT. I'm like, okay, I agree with that. And by the way, like that, how you say, push that like button, please. Come on, guys. We have like 40 people watching. That's only 9 likes. Come on, just click, click, click. Okay, so, and I asked him, okay, if you cannot get a job in IT, will you post it on your social media? Obviously not, right? Like if I cannot get a job in IT, you think I'm gonna go on my social media and be, hey guys, I got my CCNA, I got my CompTIA A plus, Network plus, it's been 3 months and I can get a job in IT. Ha 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 ha. Obviously not, right? So I'm telling you, there are thousands of people out there right now unable to get a job in IT. How I know this? Because some of them reach out to me through some way on social media. Hey Jorge, what can I do? You know, I did this, I did that, and I cannot get a job. I go through the job interview process, but they end up not calling me back. I have experience. I don't have experience. Like, that's what's going on right now out there. So again, there is a point in life that you need to like be open, you know, and this is something that I'm gonna say because that was this guy today that sent me a message. Not a message. He posted something on my YouTube. I'm like, Jorge, you have students inside the coaching program. And it seems that sometimes you cannot not pay that much attention to them. Sometimes that's basically what I heard. And I'm like, look, there are many that end up getting high paying jobs in IT, their first job in IT. So that means that process works. And here we go based on the same thing that I was saying before, right? Let's say that I'm that guy that I've been doing this for years, you know, that I've been taking people to that top of the Mount Everest. I know how to do that, right? You are paying me to what? To guide you. You are not paying me to fucking carry you, right? And that's a problem there. Many people, and I hope that's not you, okay? I hope that's not you. Don't wait for someone to carry you to the promised land. Someone can guide you and tell you, this is what you need to do, but that's your job for you to do the work, right? It's like you basically paying me for me to do the push-ups for you and for you to get the results. That doesn't work that way, right? So again, this goes back to the same thing I was saying. A lot of it has to do on the inner game. You need to take care of that first. And I bet, right, if you come up to me, how your the life that you want looks like what's the lifestyle? Tell me more about it. Like let's sit down right now, and I tell you, tell me how will you like your life to be like in 1 year from today, when the next two. Tell me all about it in detail. One, many people probably you may not be able to tell me in detail. You may be, oh yeah, a better house, more income, a job. No, detail. What job? How much are they paying you exactly? You know, how long you been on that job? Like, tell me more about it. What's the detail of that house and what location? What car do you drive? What are the experiences that you are having because of that income, that ones that you're providing to your family? You probably will not be able to do that detail, right? So you need to start there. Now, when you are very detailed about it, right? If you come up to me and you ask, Jorge, like, what's the life for you in the next year, in the next two? How the life looks like for you? I will like very detailed about it, every detail about it, right? Now you ask, okay, Jorge, who is that person that's gonna get you there? I will tell you, not me. That person that right now, me, no. I may be able to kind of like maybe, but no. This is why you have to go through this process to become the next version of you, right? So that person, the probably you can ask, okay, Jorge, so who is this person that can get you that life? Well, that person is this. That person thinks this way. That person goes through their day, through that week, through that month, doing these things, thinking about these things too. You know, different habits, like all these things combined. And that's my pursuit, me. Once I get to one level, I'm like, okay, what's next? Like going back, when I was going through this process many years back, I'm like, okay, one of my goals was if I can ever earn $50 an hour, if I can ever in my life earn $50 an hour, I made it. That was like the biggest income goal that I wanted, like the biggest, one many years back. And once I got there, I'm like, wow. So what's next? Right? And yeah, for a few years, I couldn't go to more higher and higher. Why? Because I didn't know at that point that that was another version of me that I have to kind of go through, break through. And you see, like every year, I'm like, okay, so who I need to become so I can get to that next level. And probably none of you think about that. Probably again, all of it, it has to do with IT certifications, learning more technical topics. And that's not the answer. You don't want to get to a high paying job in IT and not be happy, right? I mean, you're going through life, right? In a way that you can design something that you're gonna be able to love. You're not going through life to focus on getting a job in IT and then for you to be unhappy and many other areas in your life, right? And that's just the truth. Now, any more questions, guys? I'm going through here. I haven't gone through some of them. Okay. Let's see. A lot of people don't realize if you have the A plus, Network plus on your resume, on your yeah, exactly. That's exactly my point. Thank you. That's something I said on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I told many people, right? I'm going to the comments. So on Tuesday, I end up I said this: when you put your A plus, Network plus on the resume, right away people can tell this guy is just an entry level guy. We do not need that. I mean, there are a ton of people out there, guys, a ton of them trying to get a job in IT, a ton of them. So always a question is, how can you really differentiate yourself from everyone else? You know, one guy, I remember having a YouTube live a few months back, and I said, there are two things you have to accomplish, right? For you to get a job. One of them, they have to like you. And this guy was like laughing on the chat. Oh, haha, like you. Come on, George. Really, they have to like you? Wow, you want me like? I'm like, you see, bro, you're not getting it. You're not being open. You are not being open. You see, how is that many of the students are able to get a job? Because again, they follow a process and they accomplish that one thing. They have to like you, because if they don't like you, you don't get a job. You're not gonna get the offer, because when they like you, they're able to connect with you in a higher level, and that trust start building right there on the interview. And again, they're able to listen a lot more on what you have to say and how can you help them. The second thing is what I said before: they have to know that you can get the job done, and that's your job. That's the good thing. That's exactly your job. That way that you're gonna end up going through the job interview process, what you do, that's gonna accomplish those two things, and that's all up to you. Okay, there are ways on how to do that. Uh, so let's see. What other questions do you have? So I learned Active Directory and I got a system admin position. Where are you from, Easy? And how much, if you don't mind saying, how much is this position paying? And be honest. Be honest. Okay. Let's see who else. Now I will tell you this, guys, and I really hope you write this down, because this will blow your mind. What I'm about to say will blow your mind, and I'm gonna ask you for you to write this down. And this is something that I'm gonna share with my students, okay, on Sunday. I don't know, maybe one of my students probably is watching, but this is something that I'm gonna share with them on Sunday night, because every Sunday night I have a conversation with them, okay. So this is one thing that I'm gonna share, and I'm gonna pass it on to you. And I really hope you end up doing this. If not, again, that's up to you, but that's exactly what I will do, okay. And this is, again, do this as soon as we end this call. Do this. It's not gonna take you more than 30 minutes, and these next 30 minutes can really change your life financially and where you're gonna end up by the end of next year, not this year. Jorge, my wife asked me if she can get classes in Spanish. That can probably happen. But yeah, let me go on that, okay? So this is what I'm gonna ask you to do. And again, it will take you 30 minutes. And if you don't do this, again, it's up to you. But if you do this, you're gonna thank me. I know you're gonna thank me, okay? So let me write this down. So 2022, right? By the end of 2022, okay? This is what you need to do, okay? And that's, what's the income I want, the job I want, the lifestyle I want. I'm gonna write that down. What's the income I want, the lifestyle I want by the end of next year? And then think of it, okay, who is the person that I need to become? Think of it. the way that person has to think, the way that person will do things, because that says a lot about you, the way that you do things. Okay. The other one, the habits. What are the habits that this person needs to have? Okay. What are the attitude of what this person needs to have? Like, you need to think about those things, right? Now you have to create these goals. You see, many people create goals, New Year's resolution. And as you know, because that happened to me many times, right? Not anymore, but for many years, yes. And they happen to most people, right? For a week or two, they're so excited for New Year's resolution because they have a ton of goals. But 2 months into the year, they totally forgot about the goals they had. Why? Because they go through New Year being themselves. And that's the issue. You cannot accomplish, you cannot do better when you go through the next year being yourself. So what does that mean? When you get to that vision and what life looks like, the income, the job, the lifestyle, the results you want by the end of 2022, right? You have to think of it like, okay, who is the person that I have to become in order for me to get there? Okay, let me write that down. Well, this person needs to have these habits that I don't have. This person needs to have this thinking that I don't have. This person does things this way that I don't do. Again, you start going through it. The attitude, all of it, the standards that you have for yourself. What's your big why, and why you do the things that you do? Oh, I do that for my family. Really? Everyone says that, bro. It has to be something deeper than that. What are you doing this for? Oh, because of my family, my kids. Are like, really? That's bullshit. That's a lot more deep than that. But you don't take that process for you to really find out exactly what that is. And that's the reason why you give up. Okay. So again, you have to think of it that way and be like, okay, I have 3 months. Right now, I have 3 months. I have October, I have November, and I have December. And I have 3 months for me to become that person. Listen, you're not hearing probably. You are not hearing me. You have 3 months. 3 months for you to become that person. That way, when 2022 starts, that's not you, the one that's going through 2022. That's the next version of you. The one that's going to really do those things that you want to accomplish. The one that's going to really take on the entire next year to make it happen. Because it's not going to happen. I know probably by now, if think about it, what are the goals that you had this year that didn't happen? Come on. How many? Yeah, you probably accomplished maybe one or two, but the biggest ones, the ones that will make the entire difference for you. How many did you end up not accomplish this year? And that you're not going to be able to because we are already 3 months left. Now, you think that because you're going to get some motivation, that you're going to be able to, like, okay, new year, this year's going to be like, no. That has to be a new you. That has to be a new you. Okay, that has to be you. But you have to become the next version of yourself. And you have 3 months. You have October, you have November, and you have December. That way, new year comes 2022, you are not you. You are the next version. That means you're going to take on now with this new version of yourself, this is going to be able to do the things. This is going to be able to accomplish and get the results that you want by the end of next year. If you do that, I know you're going to come back and you're going to take me for that one exercise. Okay? I'm telling you, anything that you think, that can happen. Anything that you can think of, that can happen. But you have to become someone that you are not. So write that down. 2022, how my life is going to look like. Like really, how my life is going to look like. And by the end of 2022, what's the income, the job, the opportunities, the results, everything. Let me write that down. And now let me think of who is the person that can accomplish that. And then you have 3 months for you to become that person. You have 3 months. Now, that's all I have, guys. Let me see through some questions. Any questions? Let's see. Green, you home lab is experience specifically that's in the working. Hey, Jorge, can you rank that top position that working here? Sometimes I can hype and up with, for example, system admin, local, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get through some of these, guys. Now, why 90K by 2022? Where you from, TA? Tell me where you're from, please. And tell me you work in IT right now. Tell me that, please. And I can tell you that you can probably do more than 90K. Uh, you know, I know Jake Smith is not Jake Smith. I know that's someone else. I'm trying to think of who is this fucking person. It's funny when people reach out to, and I don't like them. Well, they don't like me, but they still watch my shit. It's funny, like how that works, you know. And I remember someone saying, you know, Jorge, when you start putting kind of yourself out there, and this is for you too, like when you're putting yourself out there, then you're gonna get those haters, right? And I really that let me tell you something that got me for a few years, not months, a few years. I remember doing my first videos on YouTube many years back, and I'm like, I'm gonna provide so much value, I'm gonna give so much content that people are gonna love me. Like they're gonna fucking love me, even though it's gonna go against on what many people say. But that's the truth, that's the reality of it, right? So boom, right? I start putting a lot of content, and about 50% it was positive. The other 50% it was so negative. Oh, that's not true, blah blah blah. Jake Smith, what's your phone number, man? What's your freaking phone number? Because I'm thinking about two people right now. Because I know that's not why your name is Jack Smith. Pathetic. I wish I can see your bank account. So again, guys, you may have some people like that. It comes with the price. So any other questions? Come on, guys. Any other questions? You know, I ignore them, but sometimes it just fucking get my nerves. You know, sometimes I wish they have the balls to be on my face. So going back on that conversation, guys, okay? Going back on that conversation. Okay, I'm going through some of the comments. I'm looking for that comment about the one that wants to earn $90,000. Because in 1 year you can from Philly. I'm not at T, got my CCNA last week. Okay. If you end up getting the Cisco CCNA, yeah, you can probably do more than $90,000. Because once again, right, the first job, I'm telling you, the first job that you get in IT, the first job has to pay you 60 to 75K. The first job in IT, okay? First job in IT, 60 to 75K. And again, you work your heart really hard for another 6-9 months, and then you can upgrade. Okay, now you can upgrade to that job that's gonna pay you 90 to 100K. So you can probably do more than 90K. There's a few things obviously that you can do, but that's totally possible. Okay. How long take you to when you have tuition resist? Jorge, I have a question. As a high school, when you move up, did they ever bring your education? No, 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 no. I know some of you know that I'm a high school dropout, and CCNA does not guarantee job with no experience. Jorge is a Cisco shop. What the hell is a Cisco shop? Oh my god, it's funny. Okay. Um, I'm going on that question. What was the question? Sorry, I forgot that question. Oh, so as you know, as some of you know, I'm a high school dropout. In my previous job, they require someone with a bachelor's degree. So again, and the job description said require bachelor's degree. And I know for many people that's something that stopped them. Oh, I'm not gonna apply to this job because I don't have a bachelor's degree. Or I'm not gonna apply to this job because it says 5 years of experience. Oh my God, I only have 2. And I know many people are not able to do that, like apply for those jobs. Okay. To start, should I register for the masterclass? Amran, yes, I will do that. Just go through the masterclass. Someone right now is helping me to schedule the calls because I have a few calls behind, but that's something I'm planning to do the next 2 weeks. I have like about 7 calls behind, and people end up getting the blueprint. And as you know, guys, some of you know, if you end up getting the blueprint, you go through 55, 57 videos, exercises, and you end up getting a one-on-one call with me, you know, one-on-one call with me. So. So yeah. So going back on that conversation, and this is something I posted 2 videos. I'm gonna post another video next week about that beliefs. I see some of you are still listening, and I really need you to listen to this. Okay, there are 3 beliefs right now, and in IT, there are 3 big ones, 3 beliefs. One of them is, and again, this is probably, it can be only one that's screwing you over. It's only one belief you need in order for you not to make things happen. Okay, one of them is this. One of them is this. A bachelor's degree. So again, you do not need a bachelor's degree, not for you to get your first job in IT or for you to get a high-paying job in IT. I know many people think of it like, okay, yes, Jorge, I can see that I can get a job in IT with no degree. I can see that happening. I'm able to get an entry-level job, move on to the next one and the next one. But if I want to get a really high-paying job in IT, a senior level position, maybe some management. Oh my God, management? Yes, I need to have a bachelor's degree. No, you don't. No, you don't. Regardless of what job you're gonna go after, you do not need a bachelor's degree, even if it's a management position. It doesn't matter. It matters about the results that you end up getting and how you can demonstrate them in the market, IT market, okay? And for you to be able to sell it. That's it. Nothing to do with a bachelor's degree. Now, belief number 2, it's about years of experience. And I see this a lot. Oh, Jorge, I cannot apply to that job because it says 7 years of experience or more. I only been working in IT for 3 years. Oh, I'm not qualified. I'm like, no. Again, remember, that job wants someone that can get the job done. They do not care. And you can ask them at the end of the day, do you care about someone having a bachelor's degree or not? At the end of the day, do you really care of someone having 7, 10 years of experience working in IT or not? Or at the end of the day, you only need that one person that's going to be able to get the job done. Which out of the 3? And they're going to say, we want the person that's going to be able to get the job done. So you see, it has nothing to do with a bachelor's degree. It has nothing to do with that not just a bachelor's degree, years of experience. And there is a way, and how can you position yourself, go through the job interview process for them to think of you, wow, this guy or this girl can get the job done. Okay. Let's say Wayne. Let me see, Wayne. I'm only asking because I want to study for one, but I'm told CCNA and LPRAS are the same thing. No, they're not the same thing. Okay, they're not the same thing. If you're new in IT, yeah, that's fine. Go through the Neuro class. But that means go through the content. That doesn't mean you have to pay $300-400, whatever that costs for you to take the exam. Yeah, go through the content. You know, take a week, take 2 weeks, and go through that first, and then jump into the CCNA. Now, remember what I told you, because I know probably kind of new on this channel. And for those of you that haven't liked the subscribe to the channel, make sure you subscribe. But this is something that I've been saying a lot. One of the first things you have to do when you decided, okay, I want to get this certification, regardless of what certification, okay? But let's say CCNA. Before I'm going to start going through that, I need to take a week or 2, and I'm going to learn how the mind processes information, how the mind learns information. You see, that's one thing that I'm telling you, okay? Okay, I have someone here. Jorge, you forgot another myth. Neutral certifications are better because they make you more well-rounded. No, the same thing with IT certifications. The same thing. You do not need a ton of IT certifications. Guys, I ended up getting a senior level position in my previous job. In my previous job, I was a senior network system engineer. Not just job that I have now, because I still have a full-time job. My previous job, okay? And I didn't have my CCNP. Yes, I had a few Microsoft certifications. I had my CCNA. I had my CCDA too, but I didn't have my CCNP. And I know there were probably other people that had that CCNP, that had a bachelor's degree, that were applying to this job, a senior network system engineer position. And again, I didn't have my CCNP back then, and I didn't have obviously a bachelor's degree, and I ended up getting the job. So what does that tell you? That there is ways on how to go through the job interview process and demonstrate that yes, you can get the job done. That yes, you have the value to offer based on what they need and based on what they want. Okay. So no, it has nothing to do with IT certifications. That helps, but not for you to go and get a ton of them. This is a good question, Easy. A very good question. Will you take a job with less pay just to get a security clearance? Yes. And I will do that for 6 months. I will do that for 6 months. So again, if I have a job and let's say that job is paying me probably $80,000, right? Or let's say $100,000, and then this job is gonna pay me probably $90,000. So I'm like, shit, I'm losing 10 grand. 100,000 I'm earning, I'm going for a $90,000. I will probably get it for maybe 6 months to get that security clearance. Why? Because once I get that, and if I have the experience, I can go for something that's gonna pay me over $140,000. So yes, I will do that. But again, it all depends, right? Let's see. I haven't gone through some questions. Let me kind of go back. Let me go back. Guys, one of the when people go through the coaching program, there are 5 principles. Okay, there are 5 principles that you have to go through, that you have to learn, and that's something that helped me a lot. And I will tell you one of them. And this is one book that I haven't advised for people to get. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you right now. And this is one of the principles that I teach, that I go through as students. And this is something that can really make a difference in your life. Okay, let me show you. I've gone through this book twice already, and I got it about 2 months ago. Okay, this one right here. Now you're probably thinking, why that book, Jorge, and not any technical book? And like, because I go based on what's gonna make the difference, not only in my IT career, but obviously too in my personal life. And this is again something that I really need you for you to get. You're going through your IT career, and then you having a high-paying job in IT sooner than later. It does not apply just on IT certifications. So don't believe all those YouTubers telling you that you need to learn a ton of things. You don't. Yes, you need to learn some of them, but not all of them. And the question is, okay, which ones do I need to learn? It all depends based on the job that you have right now and based on the next job that you're gonna get. I probably go through something right now that don't apply to you. You probably are going through something right now on the next job that don't apply to me. But not because of that, we're gonna end up and going through every YouTube video that's out there about all these topics, because everyone is saying, everyone needs to know Linux, everyone needs to know about Python, everyone needs to know about virtualization, everyone needs to know about Kubernetes, everyone needs to know about all this. Like, no. Yes, there are a few things, but not everything. Okay. Now, I showed this yesterday, okay? And I'm going to show it today. Because I know probably for you that can be some type of inspiration or motivation that this can happen to you, okay? Uh, exactly. That's one of the things that I teach on the coaching pro and the blueprint. Exactly what Fort Main Batter said. You get to that job that you want, and then you reverse engineer the process. I'm telling you, it's not difficult. When you know how to do it, you will know what to do without going and taking advice from a lot of people that, again, don't know any idea where you are right now. Now let me answer that one question. How will you negotiate a pay raise when you obtain a new certification? That's the worst thing that you can do. So green KC, that's the worst thing that you can do. You shouldn't negotiate when you get a higher certification. What that means is you get one or two certifications and you move on to another position that's gonna pay you more in another company. Don't look for you to upgrade within the company. Okay. How do you keep being motivated every day? I will tell you this. That's freaking difficult. It's not easy. Sometimes I have to it's just not easy. But I have 4 kids and 3 dogs. So that's my freaking motivation. And my girlfriend. So you see, I'm telling you, it's not easy. You think I want to be here sometimes? I'm like, no, but I remember me being like probably where you are right now. And I really wish someone can tell me something that's not related to IT certifications. Like, I really wish that back then. Because me, I was going and I was getting one IT certification, and then I will get the next one, and then the next one. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm a badass. I'm gonna take one page and I'm gonna put all my IT certifications. Everyone is gonna hire me. So I'm gonna be that guy that's gonna have a lot more certifications than anybody else. It's gonna be me. That was my thinking. And I tell you, that got me nowhere. Okay. I'm telling you, I end up going through so many IT certifications that I end up not using. For some of you that have been working in IT for a long time, I end up getting my Microsoft Certified Desktop Support Technician. Microsoft have that certification, Microsoft Certified Desktop Support Technician. And that was too exams for you to be able to get that one. And that was going back in 2007, 2008, somewhere around that time. I ended up getting that one. I ended up getting a ton of Microsoft certifications. I ended up taking a few yeah, I mean, I was just, I'm telling you. Okay. Joshua, what's going on, man? How are you doing with the resume, man? Hit me, send me a message through Face. And one of your kids heading to college? Yeah, that's true. So I'm telling you, I mean, it just gets expensive and expensive. So that's my motivation. Okay. And let me tell you one thing. I don't care where you are in life, right? This is like, again, I don't care where you are in life. I'm gonna get back to you, Akias. Okay, let me get back to let me answer you. Can I complete my CCNA as an Indian and get a job in US? Is being a USA citizen very important? Uh, I don't know about that, to be honest. I know there are many other ways on how can you go on the market and be able to get some contracts, be able to do other things. They can probably get you the income that you're looking for. But honestly, I would lie to you if I tell you. Okay. Okay. So going back, regardless to where you are right now, okay, regardless to where you are right now, regardless of where you are right now, doing your IT career the right way. And again, there are different ways, not just having a full-time job in IT, or you can have 2 jobs in IT. That's something that you can do. Okay. But let me tell you this. Let me see something here. Okay. Let me tell you this. Having a full a career in IT, you can get to a salary that can pay you over the 200K in 3, maybe 4 years, maybe 5. Okay. All depends on how hard you work. But just imagine being able to earn $200,000. You can do that. And that can probably be on one job. That can probably you having 2 jobs working from home at the same time. That can be probably for you to do some consulting on the side, because there are many people, like I know, not much right now, but I knew 2 people, they had their full-time job and they were doing a few things on the side, like some consulting over the weekend. And they were earning a lot more money doing the side jobs they were doing over the weekend or after work than the job they had, even though the job they got was the job they had was a high paying job in IT. So this is why there's many ways. If you're like a hustler, basically, there are many ways on how you can earn more than $200,000. Okay. Now let me tell you something else. Why not get to 160,000? Because let me tell you something. When you get to $160,000, you become the 3%. Imagine that. I mean, obviously, I don't know the number, right? But I think, if I'm not mistaken, we are 240 million people in the United States, about around that number, 220 million or 40 million in the United States. That 3% earn more than $160,000. Imagine that you can say that. Imagine that you can come up to your parents, or imagine that you can come up to your kids and be like, I'm on the top 3% of income earners. Not household, okay? Not household where you combine the income. No, 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 no. That's just you, personal, individual, okay? Individual. Now, let me do the math right here. So let's say that we are 240 million people, right? 240 million people. Uh, I don't even know how to do math, bro. So 240 million people. That's 72,000, if I'm not mistaken. No, that was two. No, 700. Whatever the number is. Okay. Oh, holy shit. 300 million people. Okay, it's 300 million people. My bad. My bad. Okay. But only 3%, guys. Only the 3% are able to earn over $160,000. Okay, now you said 7%, so I got my math wrong again. Okay, I don't know where you're getting numbers. I did research not too long ago, and it's again 3%. Okay, but regardless if it's 3 or 7%, right? Imagine that you can come up to your kids, be like, guys, I'm on the top 3, on the top 5%, right? Imagine that. I mean, that would be badass, right? And really, for you to think of it like, wow, how many people struggle right now financially? And you, once you get there, you are now one of them, right? Like, I can go on and on and on, and many things end up going through financially that I know you're gonna say, oh, that happened to me too. Oh, that happened to me too. Oh, that's happening to me right now. Because, and I get it, many people may think of it like, oh, money, really, Jorge, you're talking about money? I'm like, yeah. Well, is that a big of a deal? Yes, it is a big of a deal. Why? Because, I mean, you can write 80% of your problems that you have right now. I know that you can write a check for that. Really think about, I remember doing this exercise because I used to have a coach. Okay. I used to have a coach. And that's one exercise that he basically told me to do. Jorge, write down all the problems that you can think of right now. All the problems, any worries that you have, all of them, write them down, all of them. And I'm like, okay, done. I'm like, I don't see not even that page to be full. Come on, Jorge, you have more than that. I'm like, no, that's about it. No, 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 no. Like, really, go deep. I'm like, okay. And there were a few more that came out. So it was on my, and the sheet that I was doing it was almost 1.5 pages, like almost. It was like the whole full page and a few on the other side. And I'm like, Jorge, now I'm going to ask you to do this. If you have the money, right, for you to write a paycheck, how many of those problems can you take out? And I was going through it. Oh, ouch. Sometimes the arguments that I used to have with, my girlfriend, because we didn't have this, we didn't have that. Boom. Okay. All because, I couldn't pay the bill on time. Okay. Boom. All because I wanted this car is giving us problems, but I don't have the money, right? Okay. Boom. Like, I was just kind of going through that, right? And I'm like, holy shit. And he told me, what's the percentage? About 80%. So just imagine, right? Just because money, how life will be if that's, and that's a lot better. I'm telling you, I've been on both sides. I've been on both sides. And if you don't have money, it sucks big time. Just for now, I'm not saying for the things that you want, okay? I'm just saying for the things that you need. You know, many people right now they're struggling like really bad, right? So why not you being on the yourself and put yourself in a position where you become on that top 5% or top 3%? You know, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Um, because that's exactly what you get up, you end up going in IT, right? Because you wanted to get a high paying job in IT. Now the problem was that probably people told you that, oh yeah, you know, it will not be that difficult for you to get a job in IT and be able to get a high paying job, and you end up like again. Thanks. Where are you, Nick? I know Nick basically went through the blueprint, and it's a really good training course, and I'm gonna take that down the next 2 3 weeks because I'm gonna be opening the membership, so that's not gonna be no more blueprint. No, you get the job after the CCNA. And once again, let me just remind you, okay? Now, Mario Ayala, that's wrong, man. You have 5 years of experience and you cannot get back on a good job? No muy bueno, man. So once again, for those that ask that question about should I get the CCNA before or after me getting the job, it's after you get the Cisco CCNA. You have to get the Cisco CCNA and then get a job. But once again, don't think because you get the CCNA, you're going to get a job, because that's not how it works. The CCNA, the only thing that's gonna do for you, the only thing that's gonna do for you is for you to be able to, for people to reach out to you. That's it. That's it. People are gonna reach out to you. Yes. But if, okay. Okay. So again, you need more than the CCNA for you to get the job. You need more than the CCNA for you to get the job. So don't think because you get the CCNA, the security plus, this plus, that plus, you're gonna get a job. No, because you have to think about that. Okay. Okay. Again, you can, and this is the other thing that I really need you guys to listen. Okay. Please listen to this. Sometimes people ask, Jorge, where is the money? Like really, where is the money? And cybersecurity, DevOps, network engineer, system engineer. Like, where is the money, Jorge? Like, where? And I'm like, well, let me tell you. And any of them. Really? Yeah, really. Well, I see many jobs in cybersecurity that pay really well. Yet I see many in cloud too, and DevOps, network architecture. How many jobs do you want? Do you want 10 or you want 20 jobs? And people be like, what do you mean? Yeah, I know it's kind of dumb question, right? Obviously, you want one job. And if you do things right, you can get 160, you can get 180 being a cybersecurity engineer, or being a cloud engineer, or being a network architect, or a senior network engineer, or a senior DevOps. It doesn't matter. All jobs will pay you really well. So don't go based on what people probably tell you. Oh, you go on cybersecurity. Because let me tell you something. Many people don't know what's cybersecurity. Many people don't know that much about cloud. And they are going there because, again, that's the buzzword. That's what everyone is talking about. And it sounds badass, right? Oh, I'm a cybersecurity engineer. Because people keep asking sometimes, Jorge, how can I start my IT career in cybersecurity? And I'm like, do you know even what that is? And many people be like, well, not really. So how is that you want to get in IT and become a cybersecurity engineer when you have no idea on what that is? Like, I don't get it. Like, really? Like, come on. You see? So sometimes you have to take the time to find out more about what's the career you want, right? Yet, again, there are very few students that I have They have two jobs. Yeah, two jobs working from home. Imagine working from home, two jobs. You can earn good money. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay. So I only have other 5 minutes, guys, because I have a call with one of my students. That's the thing. When I do coaching, I do between 3 to 4 calls a day, every day, even on Saturday morning. Because I really love helping, people. And let me tell you a story, guys, that got me here. Okay. Or why I decided to do like the Network Engineer Academy thing or being here teaching you guys. So, on my previous job, when I was a senior network system engineer, we had a contract. We were migrating. So I was working on this project. And they were a few consultants. They came in to help us with that migration. And one of them, really cool. So this is something I usually do. I approach people that have better than me. I always do that. If I see that you have it better than me, I'm gonna reach out to you and I'm gonna ask you a few questions because I want to know what the hell are you doing, right? Because obviously I want to get there. So I reached out to this guy, right? We were having a few conversations and it got to the point where I'm like, okay, now let me ask the questions that I want to ask. And one of the questions was, and again, this is not like the same day, but it was, I think it was in the second week, if not, no, the first week. No, it was the second week, when I had like that connection with him and I was working daily with him on this project and this migration. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, let me ask him. I'm like, okay, so I see that you have like a high position, right? If you don't mind me asking, how long you been working in IT? Oh, I've been working in IT for 3 years. And I'm like, I was like, 3 years? Like, you've been working in IT for 3 years? I mean, like, and I asked, like, what do you mean 3 years? Like, on this job? I'm like, no, no. In my career, I've been working in IT for 3 years. And I'm like, okay. So, and I told him, I don't know, that doesn't click to me, doesn't make sense. And I'm going to ask, I mean, based on that position, it seems that you earn a lot more than 100K. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay, so if you don't mind me asking between you and me, how much are you earning? He didn't tell me like how much exactly, but he told me I'm earning more than $150,000. And I'm like, let me sit down. And I sit down. And I'm like, okay. And I was like low on my voice. So are you telling me that you've been working in IT for 3 years and you're earning more than 150K? And you've been like totally honest with me, right? Yeah. Why would I lie to you? I'm like, you have to tell me how. You have to tell me how you did it. How you did it. And he told me, okay, this is exactly what happened. For 11, I remember that it was 9 or 11 years. But I think it was, let's say 9 years. I think it was 9 years. Like I was working for 9 years. And listen to this, guys. Listen, okay? Because remember, I'm talking to this guy. He's been working in IT for 3 years, earning $150,000 more. I don't know how much more, but he told me more than 150. And I asked him, so how you did it, right? So he says, for 9 years, I was the manager of this dealership. I had many salespeople under me. So I was kind of like the main guy, the making that the sales everything happen. And I was doing that for about, I don't know if it was 9, 11 years that he told me. But he was like 9 years, let's say. And I mean, I was earning good money, but I ended up having a family. So me being able to, not being at home because I was working from Monday through Saturday, from 9 p.m., from 9 in the morning to 9 p.m. And Saturday, sometimes the same thing. So I didn't have that time for my family. So I'm like, I need to do something because this is not gonna, it's just not gonna work for me. And I'm like, okay. So I got a friend that told me, get an IT, get some Cisco certifications. So I ended up getting my Cisco CCNA. And yes, I ended up getting my first job in IT. And then I move up to a better position until I'm able to get this position. So what was the company did you work before? I'm like, uh, this is the only job that I had in IT, like this company. I'm like, okay, so they hire you, right? And then you were able to move up within the company in 3 years? Yes. I never seen that happening. How did you do that? I'm like, here's the secret, Jorge. Again, I was working for about 9 years. I don't remember if it was 9 or 7, but 9 years, let's say. Okay. And when I was doing that, I learned a lot about working with people, communication skills, marketing, about sales for as long as that I can remember. I went through so much training on that. And when I combined that with what I was learning, easy. And that's something that I noticed. Many people in IT, that's exactly what he said. I don't exactly remember what he said, but he said they're too analytic. They may know something, but they're not going to be able to have a conversation, be able to tell it to someone else. And some others too, they don't have the confidence for them to think of themselves that they can get to to something more higher. And because you know how it goes with sales, you go, you go, you go, you go. That means when you go, you go, you go. I mean, you push those numbers, you want to get to high paying jobs. And obviously, I had the ambition to do it, and I have the skills. Just combine it. I'm like, oh my god, and it clicked for me because back then, I know some of you know that I used to have a small business. I did IT for a few years. It went really well, and I'm like, you know what? It went well for me. And I remember quitting my job. And the last job that I worked in IT before opening my business was earning $35 an hour. For me, that was a lot of money back then, a lot of money for me because I never thought that I would earn not even like $20. So earning $35, that was like a big for me. And I went through a few things. I probably share the story later with you. But I ended up opening my own business. I did computer repair, computer internet, and probably some of you may remember that there were businesses where they have computers for people to come in and rent it for an hour. Well, that was kind of back then. That was kind of me. And I was teaching the A plus and network class. And I went to some businesses just to provide services, and I ended up getting a few contracts, not that many, just a few. And I did that. But at one point, there were other shiny things. That's for another conversation. But there were another shiny things like network marketing, all this BS. Yes, I ended up getting caught with that. But between doing other things and I completely not do IT no more, again, I end up learning a lot about marketing, about the storytelling, about sales, about communication, about so many other things that I never imagined that I needed, but I end up learning them. So it got to a point where I cannot have the business no more because I was working there from Monday through Sunday. And I was earning like okay money, not good, like okay money. I'm like, I can earn more money if I only have a high paying job in IT compared to B being here like every day. So I decided to end up the business, that location, and I went back to IT. But here's the problem that it probably was maybe 2.5 years that I didn't do any IT at all, like at all, no IT at all. So I had to start from zero. So when I went back working IT, my first job, entry level job, help desk. That was my first job when back in IT, help desk, because I didn't know any better. But let me tell you something. Not even 15 months later. 15 months later. Okay? I have the proof. This is something that I shared with you for those of you that were in the call last Tuesday. Let me show you if I have it here. I wanted to do a video about this because I want to show people what they can do. So this is where I used to live, I guess. But just to see the name, Tech Systems. I know probably a lot of you know Tech Systems, but this is one of my paychecks. It's gonna take a minute to focus. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Come on. Well, anyways, right there, $70. The rate, $70. So in about 15 months or so, I ended up going from a help desk job all the way to $70 per hour. Obviously, one job and then the next and the next and the next and the next. But how I end up doing that in 15 months? because I knew something that I didn't know before. Marketing, storytelling, communication skills, the process of learning how to learn. Like there were other skills that, again, no one told me to when I was going through my IT career. So what happened? What happened? I ended up applying all of that, and I was end up getting all the jobs that I wanted. And when I ended up talking to this guy and that job that I had as a senior network and system engineer, and when he told me the story, I'm like, that's exactly what happened to me. And that's how I was helping some of my friends to get a job in IT. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I have to teach it. I have to. And that's why I'm here. You see? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay? So, okay? So, yes, you need to learn technical topics. You have to. You have to. But that's not the answer. Remember that. That's not the answer. Okay? That's more of a resource. And again, it's good for you to have it, but that's not the answer. There are other skills. Okay? So that's the link for those of you that kind of want to go and jump into that coaching. And there's the details there. So yes, wow, I did an hour and a half and I have to jump on this call. Yep, he misses me. Shit. Okay, so I have to go, guys, because the student messaged me. I'm running late. Okay. Any other questions, guys? 2 minutes. Anything that you want to ask? Have another minute or so. Let me see your questions. Of course. Seven purple national independently. Well, hopefully this conversation kind of got you thinking, because that was gonna. If I'm able to reach out to like just you, like you, and this I make you think about what you are and what you can really accomplish, then I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. Okay. So everyone, have a good night, and I will probably next week do another video live. Okay. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.